Welcome back to Homeopathy at Home with Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Bri, I'm excited to finish up our encouragement series.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Mhm.
This has been going on for over a year, which is awesome. These have been peppered in. I hope they've been encouraging to you all. Um, this is a series that I originally wrote for the first retreat Melissa did, the Rise and Shine retreat in 2024. So go back, look for the encouragement series. You don't have to listen to them in any kind of order.
There's actually a playlist on YouTube where you can listen to all of them.
Great. There you go. And then you can watch us and Melissa get attacked by flies in the last one. Um, so these were to give you a short summary. If you haven't listened to any of the other ones, this is just some stuff that I shared on my heart, and how God has used this journey of learning homeopathy, learning what healing really looks like to show me more of Him and who he is and how this can apply to my spiritual walk. And so really, I'm just sharing here with you. It is not equating homeopathy with biblical principles. So I hope that's nobody's hearing that. I'm just sharing how God's used it to teach me things. So last but not least is this idea of peeling back layers. So in homeopathy, we often talk about healing is like peeling back layers of an onion. And that visual has been really helpful to me, even as I'm walking through cases in my family or clients. Um, and we tell them it's going to be a process. So we're going to come and take your case and get all of these things, right? Sometimes there's a lot going on and it feels like just this huge task. And when you go back to these years they've been walking through all this chronic illness, it seems like that where in the world even is the center of that onion, right? It's just all these layers on top. But in this reminded me of in our spiritual growth, it can feel very overwhelming to initially walk into the process of sanctification. And this process, this growth is just that, a process of uncovering things and addressing deeper issues over time. And trusting that each layer can bring us closer to the Lord, help us look more like Him. And in His grace, God works gently but consistently on our pruning and sanctification. So, in the same way that I think sometimes it's so easy to get discouraged in the physical healing process, to feel like we're not getting anywhere, our bodies can't handle going from 0 to 100 overnight. We didn't get here overnight. We're not getting it back there overnight. And spiritually speaking, I myself have gotten frustrated sometimes with like, it feels like my own lack of growth, or like I'm back in the same thing. I thought I've made so much progress and grown here, and it feels so discouraging. Um, but God knows in His grace that there is, He does it gently over time. He knows who we were made to be, who we can become, and He is faithful. He never stops working on us. He continues that work even when we may be resistant. Um, and ultimately, our goal and destination is not here on earth. So, hopefully, we're allowing His work in us to make us more like Him until we get to eternity. But I think that just goes to show sometimes the end goal can't just be whatever we think is ultimate here. Just to allow God to keep working, let Him be faithful in that. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, "We all with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into His image with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." So just to encourage you, I don't have a lot of extra things to add to this. I've said a lot of things in the other points that culminate maybe in this, but just stick it out, stick with the process. Um, if you don't know the Lord, I hope that these have encouraged you and maybe you are interested in what that could look like for you. Um, and hopefully today's encouraging too, that you don't have to be something or be somewhere before you are acceptable before God, but that He'll take whatever your onion looks like. And He
So
just works
that's
on those layers.
exactly what you just made me think of is that I wanted to say is that just like So homeopathic remedies work gently,
Hmm.
right? And they don't force change.
Hmm.
Um, so
That's
just
good.
think about if you're grieving the loss of someone. We're not given a remedy to take away your grief or take, but it helps you get through it gently and in a healthy way. And in the same way, God works in us with grace and patience. He doesn't force anything. He's such a gentleman.
And the order sometimes isn't what we think it should be,
Hmm.
right? Like God is growing, and we've said this in some of the other points, but looking at other people's lives too, like you can recognize God's growth in someone, and they might be really discouraged and thinking, man, well, that's not the area I've even been focusing on. But this is the area where God has chosen to do a work. And so, yeah, all of those things. He's very usually gentle. I mean, sometimes he's gotten, had to do a little checking on me.
Well, exactly. And that was exactly going to be my next point is that um when you're using homeopathy, sometimes old symptoms will return. And while that's a sign of progress, we get irritated, aggravated, discouraged. We think it's not working.
This is good.
We get so upset. And, but, when God's pruning us, it doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
Um,
And you know what, though, we say too, when those symptoms come back up, your body should be in a better state to move through
that's
them,
right.
like more equipped,
Hmm.
like in a better way, in a quicker way.
That's right.
That's some good stuff right there.
That's right. Yep. So yes,
It's
when
not
God
that you're
prunes
working.
us. So I look at it in two ways. Like, there's God pruning us, right? So
Mhm.
that's cutting off some of the branch, cutting it back. It
Yep.
hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I don't like it. I don't want it. But we're better and we grow fuller and we reach our reach is more, right? When we get pruned. And then the other way I think of it is when we're in the fire. We're getting refined in that fire and it hurts. It burns. And we don't like it, and I don't
This is
want to
so
be
good.
there.
I'm thinking about so many things. Like we have fruit trees, and the guy told us like the first year that, I don't think it was mangoes. I don't know, one of them. You pinch off all of them. You pinch off every single new bud
Wow.
because it's not going to be good fruit. And if you do that, after that, it's going to be great, productive, really good quality fruit. And I was like, I mean, that's something. You know what?
Yep.
I had this fiddle. I'm getting on a little bit of a rant now. This fiddle leaf fig. If you know what those trees are, they're beautiful. Everybody likes them in their house. It's really great. Well, we moved with this thing for a few states, several states,
Hmm.
and
I
my fiddle
remember.
was just struggling. And it was big though. I had grown it from a little baby to like a big tree, but it was like not so sure about Florida life, liked it, I think. They do well here, but this guy didn't know. He's like not getting the right kind of light and just growing really sporadic, like not good, healthy leaves. And I did some research and it said literally cut it off. Like cut it all up, prune it all the way back, and then notch it for new growth. And I've raised this tree like a child. And I love this tree.
Right?
Not many of my plants have made it. And I was like so proud of this thing. And I one day was like, it's either going to die or I'm going to cut it all back. And that thing now is, it sat there like a stick for a month. And I thought I killed it. I'm like, I killed this thing. I put it out in the sun. I put it out in the Florida rain, like everything's supposed to go. That thing is blowing up. It is more leaves than I've ever seen it have. It's this beautiful tree. It can tolerate like this. It's just out there living its best life. Happy little tree. And,
Happy
you
little
know,
trees. Can you imagine God's heart when he has to prune us?
probably like this is so stupid. Like this,
That's what I just thought of. Yeah. Like
and
it
then you
broke your
watch
heart.
it there like suffer for a little bit, right? Like it sat
Yeah.
there for a
It
whole
stood
month
there
with
like a
no
stick.
leaves.
It stood there. That's what we do. We stand there
We're
like a
like,
stick, like, now what am I supposed to do?
it is so, you know what? And it doesn't make sense because we see like why, like what we had here was like okay, or like cut off all that fruit the first year.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? It feels like, why would you take it?
Yeah.
Good. That's some good stuff right there.
Right?
Mic drop.
Yay!
I think that's good.
Way to wrap up the encouragement series. It's all in the playlist on YouTube. So go enjoy the whole thing if you haven't yet, and we'll see you next time.